All right. Look at that. I hear the music today. What's going on? Producer Alex got a nice little hookup. I got a new little intro. Welcome back to That's Some Cheese, part of the Vendetta Sports Podcast Network. Today is Monday, May 3rd, 2021. And today we have producer Alex's favorite person on the entire site, Cayne Lander. Cayne, how are you? What's going on?
Oh, just hanging out. I'm back in Ontario now. I'm back home for the summer. So, yeah, just hanging out, trying to get through these stupid lockdowns and live life. Hot boy summer,
I thought you were going to throw the Chet Hanks line at me.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
We are going to be doing a big NFL draft show. We're going to be giving out grades for all 32 teams. We'll see how it goes. Of course, producer Alex is here. He texted me beforehand not to chime him in. He doesn't want anything to do with the draft grades, so I won't call on him at all. So I guess let's just start NFC East. Again, we have Cayne Lander on for those that want to find him. It's just Cayne Lander on Twitter, I believe.
Yeah, just my name.
Yeah, just his name. Alex's favorite. All right, NFC East. Give me a draft grade for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, have it all written down here. 1 second. I liked, if anybody read my my sort of day one draft grades, I liked sort of what they did there for sure. Like at the end of the day, you can give guys A pluses if they got a need or took a great player or whatever. But the Dallas Cowboys sort of just rolled with the punches. I don't think really anybody expected Denver. Well, some people expected Denver to take a corner. What I think was more surprising is Carolina taking J.C. Horn and not Patrick Surtain. And Patrick Surtain was a guy that I saw, I guess, tied to Dallas a lot. They liked him a lot. And I think they were probably pretty disappointed when both J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain were off the board at 10. But, I mean, they rolled with the punches. They traded back, got a pick out of it. And I mean, Micah Parsons is a stud. I'm a big Micah Parsons guy. And honestly, I think that it was a little bit, I call it like a saturation pick because like you already have Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, but I mean, you can never have too many good linebackers in the NFL, and Dallas definitely needs help sort of all around the board. And I mean, at the end of the day, they got Kelvin Johnson's a pretty good corner in the second round, and then I think they got another one, Nahshon Wright at 99, and I mean, it was meh. I think that I would have given them an A plus sort of day one, just because, I mean, like I said, they rolled with the punches, kind of did pretty much what the best they could do at that point. And I mean, nobody really hops out to me. They got a lot of defensive guys, pretty much as they expected. I'd give them like an A or an A minus probably.
Yeah, I gave Dallas an A. This criticism that like Jerry Jones doesn't know how to build a roster, I think is flat out ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's wrong.
Every year this guy nails the draft. And I think you hit the nail on the head here. They probably wanted one of those corners so bad. Mm-hmm. But the idea that, hey, I'm going to get Parsons at 12, I'm going to get an extra pick out of it, I'm going to get the LSU transfer Kelvin Joseph in round 2 anyway.
Yeah.
Not a bad consolation prize. And they used every single pick here on defense except for one.
Yeah.
I thought Jabril Cox in the 4th round, I thought he was the best coverage linebacker in the entire draft.
Yeah, I was surprised that he fell so far, to be quite honest with you, because I mean, I had him right. My linebacker grades must have been, I guess, like way off in this draft because, I mean, for example, like Dylan Moses, I thought was like a top linebacker.
That's all injury stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, I mean, when he's in though, like he's
the
best linebacker in the country to me. But I mean, you can't. I mean, there's nothing you can really hate here. Like they did exactly. It's like I said, they did exactly what they're supposed to do. They draft defense. They need a lot of help on defense, and in the secondary, they got two corners and two very good corners, I might add. Like Nahshon Wright, even though he got drafted in the third round here, fourth round, he got drafted at 99 of that. So he's, that's a value pick to me, because I thought Nahshon Wright was really good this year. And I mean, he probably got dinged a little bit because he played in the Pac-12, and Pac-12 isn't exactly the toughest conference on the planet. But I mean, yeah, did exactly what I thought they would do. And I mean, other than, like I said, Micah Parsons was kind of out of left field, I suppose, but rolled.
They were never going to get him if he played this year, though. He would have been gone 5, 6, 7, something like that. So
yeah,
I like Dallas's draft. Philadelphia Eagles. I gave them a B-, and the reason why I gave them a B- is because I didn't quite get the Landon Dickerson thing. I know he's a good center, but you got Kelsey. I don't know if he's going to even really help you as a guard. And the Milton Williams thing in the third round, Zetch McPherson, fourth round, But I'm not going to complain with Devontae Smith. I like Kenneth Gainwell. I thought it was a solid draft. I thought Howie Roseman rebounded a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, just like looking at all these picks, it's
far from perfect.
Yeah, I'd probably, I don't know, it'd probably be like a B for me. I mean, Devontae Smith's a great pick. I think it's exactly what they needed, honestly.
Right.
I think that like Landon Dickerson, you can never really have too many good O linemen. So like those guys who play center, they can play guard too. Just as a guy who's sort of been around a lot of offensive linemen, played offensive line for a little bit, like center and guard are relatively interchangeable. It's hard. It's easier to go from center to guard than it is to go from guard to center. So maybe that was the, rationale there. But I mean, it rebounded a little bit. Howie Roseman rebounded a little bit, but like not a lot. I mean, the page I'm looking at now, or a bunch of sort of NFL.com draft grades has it like, oh, it's an A+, A+ draft.
That stuff's all nonsense. I hate when other people hand out draft grades. Like I handed out 8 Fs.
Yeah.
Like this idea that everybody gets an A. That's not realistic. There's going to be about 8 teams, 7, 8, 9, 10 that completely bomb this thing.
Yeah. See, when I gave out my day one draft grades, I gave out a lot of A's.
But it's also the first round. I combined everything.
But that's, yeah. And that's honestly, I think in the first round, especially, there was a lot of teams that, either they got exactly who they wanted to and they didn't have to move for it. They got a huge value pick, or they just rolled with the punches. And at the end of the day, you got to think on your feet. This is the NFL draft. Anything can happen, right? So, I mean, like, for example, like my mock was 100% busted by like pick 5. You know what I mean? Like,
you mean pick 3?
Well, the thing is, like, pick 3, they could have chosen Trey Lance, and right. Like it could have been like relatively similar. But then like Cincinnati, when they picked Jamar Chase instead of Penei Sewell, which
I had a feeling they were going to do that, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I have some thoughts. Yeah, Howie Roseman rebounded a little bit, not a lot.
New York Giants, I gave them an A.
Yeah.
The reason why I gave them an A is because, hey, you get a next year's Chicago Bears first round pick.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Move down.
Honestly, that might be the move of the draft.
Yeah.
Because
and he moved down again in the second round.
Yeah.
Got more picks for the I think they have a next year's 1, 3, and 4, which is awesome. They get Darius Toney, Azeez Ojulari, Aaron Robinson. I wrote this in my post. Order Dave Gettleman some hookers, man. He did it. That guy's getting smarter the older he gets.
Yeah. Yeah. They've actually, something I heard on a podcast this morning when I was listening to it during my workout was they're calling Dave Gettleman Trader Dave now, because he just he just did so many trades, and honestly they were like
first time in his life he traded
Azeez Ojulari. I had there's a lot of people who had him ranked as a first round guy.
I did. He's pick 50. Hell yeah.
I think that the Giants had arguably one of the best drafts.
I agree.
And I mean, there's a few teams, and we'll talk about it. There's like 5 or 6 teams that sort of had like consensus, I guess, like really good drafts. But that trade down to 20 and the Kadarius Toney pick might have been the move of day one.
I do want to ask you that. The only reason why I didn't give him an A+ is because I felt like I would have rather had Rondale Moore in the second round and traded back again, rather because I think Rondale Moore is better.
Yeah.
Rather than like, I'm not going to kill him because obviously, hey, you get an extra Chicago Bears first round pick. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I just would have went Rondale Moore a little bit later.
I don't know. I'm a big Rondale Moore guy. You guys know that, but just based on, I guess, like where people had Kadarius Toney ranked, and I mean, it just made sense to me. And it's like
I get it. I get why they wanted him.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a big body receiver. He's a little bit more like I feel like Rondale Moore, with the kind of receiver he is, those receivers are like more likely to bust than receivers.
I think he's Deebo Samuel all day.
Yeah, I know, and I do too. I think he's going to be great. But I'm just saying, if I was the Giants and I had sort of Daniel Jones, who sometimes looks like a good quarterback, sometimes doesn't, I'd more want a guy who's one of those more like mid-range, sort of more reliable type guys, rather than, I guess, like a gadget sort of, I guess, like speedster is the best way to describe Rondale Moore. I don't know. Kadarius Toney, I think is a good pick for the Giants, and I think he will add a little bit more consistency to that offense. And I mean, honestly, on that offense, pretty much any drafted position would have, you know, improved that offense, unless it was a running back or a quarterback.
Producer Alex, you want to chime in on your Giants or no?
Yeah, I was very happy, and a lot of people were trying to give me shade because they're like, "Oh, you mad that Eagles traded up and stole Devontae Smith?" But I didn't care because they still ended up picking a receiver. So what that meant to me was, if Smith was there, Gettleman would have taken him. That's what that meant to me, because they still ended up taking
there was
a receiver,
already a report he was going to take him.
Which I was because I honestly didn't think I wanted, if any one of those guys was still on the board, I mean, you got to take them. But obviously the whole size thing with Smith, this and that, whatever. But the fact that he had that in his head, he was going to take him, because I thought this whole time, Galladay, Ross, all these guys in free agency, Adoree Jackson, got all these different guys. And I'm like, all right, I mean, I guess the need is not wide receiver, but if any of those guys are still there, you got to take them. So yeah. I was okay with the trade up because, I mean,
okay with it. I'd much rather have a next year's one and
then they fleeced the Bears, and they fleeced the Bears for that. Yeah. I was shocked that he actually went through with that. I thought they were sticking right there, taking it. But to get a guy like that and, trade down, 7 spots? So
at the end of the day, I really value when teams sort of have a plan and they follow it without reaching. And I think it's a huge plus for me when teams, for example, like, okay, they wanted Devontae Smith at 12, right? Looked like they're probably going to get him. Eagles hop the Giants and grab Devontae Smith at 10. It's like, okay, we still want a receiver. There's still a bunch of guys that we think we can get around 20. So why don't we, yes, Chicago, we will take your first round pick and we will move back and still get a very good receiver.
The anti-Raiders.
And fill the need. Yeah, exactly. Because if it was the Raiders in that position, they were like, oh, we want Devontae Smith. They would have been like, it might have been Leatherwood at 12.
Yeah.
Might have been Leatherwood.
Yeah.
But
can we
I
say
called that pick? I did call that pick. You guys can look at my mock draft. I fucking called the Raiders.
That's unbelievable.
Alex Leatherwood. But that's not to say I think it's a good pick.
Can we say that this was one of the best drafts for the New York Giants in the past 5 years? Maybe?
Absolutely, it was. Probably.
I thought they did well last year too.
Yeah, last year's very good as well. But yeah, I think that has to be the norm right now. That this was just an unbelievable draft for them. Filled a lot of needs, got the edges that I so badly wanted.
Like to me, I'd much rather have Ojulari at 50 than Jalen Phillips at 18.
Absolutely.
He still was a top 20
Absolutely.
pick. He
Ojulari's
still was
better-
he still was a top
Ojulari's
20
better
pick.
than Phillips.
From my-
Ojulari's better than Phillips.
From my mock trade, he was still everyone shit on me, but he still was the top 20 pick.
Yeah. No, it was Jalen Phillips is a slap dick, and we're gonna see
I
it
agree.
in year one.
Washington no namers. I gave them an F. Reason why I gave them an F is okay. I kind of get the Jamin Davis thing, but like it wasn't too long ago. He was a 4th round pick. He goes to a pro day. He's like, oh, he's got a bunch of abs, and now he's a 1st rounder. I didn't really see that. The Cosme thing. He was one of my least favorite tackles. The St. Jude's Minnesota corner. I know he's tall, but I'm not sure he's good. De'Ami Brown's just a deep threat. I didn't love this draft at all.
You know what? I will stand Benjamin St. Juste because he's Canadian, represent.
Okay.
But the Jamin Davis pick didn't make sense to me at all, especially when they're like Rashad Bateman was around. You kind of needed another receiver. That's kind of what the direction I thought they were going. Like, Christian Darrisaw was still around, which I definitely would have taken.
Like, I think Davis went 19 because there's not a lot of linebackers after Parsons. But that doesn't make it the right pick.
I don't know. You don't reach for a guy just because he's the best of the position. Like, trade back, if anything. Like, it seemed like such a random pick to me. And it was just, I'm not a big Jamin Davis guy. I didn't think he was like, I thought he was good, like maybe edge first.
I watched 2 Kentucky games. I was like, who's that corner? Who's that corner? Who's that corner? I never once even noticed the linebacker.
Yeah, the corner that the Cowboys picked.
Yeah,
he's a stud. But I don't know, Jamin Davis, like, it just didn't really make sense to me. Even that kid from Missouri, I thought was better. The one that
I agree.
Picked.
I agree.
If I was going linebacker there, it would have been him.
And he went 58.
Is it Nick Bolton?
Yeah, he went 58.
Yeah, which is ridiculous to me because he's better than Jamin Davis. But he went 58 because he's 5'11". That's why he went 58.
Right.
But the Chiefs are still fired up that they got him though, because he's a stud.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Chicago Bears, I give them an A. The reason why I didn't give them an A+ is because they gave up so much draft capital to go get Justin Fields. But holy shit, the Chicago Bears, they have a future. For the first time in my life, I will take the Chicago Bears over the Packers' future.
Yeah, I would too. I'm a big Justin Fields guy. I think he's going to be great. I also, underrated pick. And me and Scott.
You guys love this dude.
Tevin Jenkins at 39, I think, is a steal because he is the 3rd best tackle in this draft, in my opinion. I think it goes Slater, Sewell, and then Jenkins. I mean, there's a pretty big gap, I think, between. But I think Tevin Jenkins and Christian Darrisaw are pretty close for me. The only thing I like better about Tevin Jenkins is that he's a fucking dog, and he absolutely dummies people and finishes blocks. And Christian Darrisaw finishes blocks sometimes too, but I just don't quite see that dog in him as much. I mean, I love that they went, okay, we just spent a lot of draft capital on a quarterback. Let's draft 2 offensive tackles in a row.
Yeah.
Make sure he's protected. That seems like smart football to me. Seems like smart drafting to me. And I think Thomas Graham Jr. I guess that would be. I mean, I didn't think he was going to get drafted like first, second, third round.
I liked a lot of those Oregon secondary guys.
Yeah, and I don't think you can really go wrong a lot of the time with them. They always seem to, hold their own and be okay. So, I mean, I wouldn't give it an A+ just because, I mean, they didn't do anything like spectacular. It would be an A+ if they didn't give so much for Justin Fields.
That was my rationale. Yeah.
But yeah, like A- probably for me.
Detroit Lions, I gave them a B-. I know you're a Slater guy. I like Sewell. I think he's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like classic Lions, man.
This is a big what's that guy's? I know so much about him, and I've heard so much. Is it Dan Campbell? Is that his name?
Yeah, the knee biter.
Okay. This is such a Dan Campbell draft.
Yeah.
Like, offensive tackle, defensive tackle, linebacker, like big running back out of Oregon State. Like, I mean, he just wants to, you can tell he just wants to punch people in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I respect it, to be honest with you. He was fucking, if you guys saw the videos of him draft, he was fucking fired up when they got Sewell. I don't know, with this draft, I don't know if this is a great draft, but Dan Campbell had a mandate and a way he wanted to build his football team, and he did it.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like probably a B+ for me.
Fair.
And I mean, Sewell at 7, like, no, I didn't really think he was going to be around there, so I think that's a great pick. Amon-Ra St. Brown can be.
I think he sucks.
He can be a good pick in my book just because his name is an unbelievable name. And the Detroit,
his brother stinks.
Yeah, he's not that good, but I mean, his name will. The Detroit Lions are in desperate need of, like,
there you go,
something to cheer for that's not boring. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, there you go.
Green Bay Packers, I gave them a D. The only reason why I didn't give them an F is because I love Eric Stokes. I'm a big Eric Stokes guy. Other than that, this would have been an F all day.
Here's my thing with Green Bay. If you're Green Bay, more important than any draft pick, what's your main thing that you're trying to do after giving the news? You're trying to fucking make Aaron Rodgers happy. That's what I would have done.
Amari Rodgers doesn't do it for you?
No. What? Man, like,
I think he's not even that good, really. I almost think, and I wrote this in my notes, I almost think Cornell Powell was the better Clemson guy.
Yeah, me too. I agree. And I think that it's almost like a cover their ass pick. Because now they can be like, what do you mean, Aaron? We drafted your receiver.
They could have got Terrace Marshall in the second round, too.
They could have got Terrence Marshall. They could have easily probably traded up a little bit and got maybe Rashad Bateman, because he didn't get drafted that much.
Terrace Marshall went 59.
Yeah.
Like,
which is ridiculous because he's pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It just seemed like a big fuck you draft for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I would be trading picks to, or here's the other direction. If you really like Jordan Love that much,
trade Rodgers.
Trade Rodgers. Now they're saying, oh, we're not going to trade Rodgers, whatever. It's like, man, he's probably just going to sit out. He doesn't like you guys. He doesn't like playing for you. Matt LaFleur here's the thing. Matt LaFleur came in and he immediately tried to start bossing up on Aaron Rodgers. Immediately started to be like, I'm the big dog in town. This is my fucking team, not Aaron Rodgers. The problem is, when the quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, that gets coaches fired.
Yeah.
So,
he already said he wants the GM fired or he's not coming back.
Yeah. Like, which is crazy to me because you never hear that. It's always the coach, never the GM. Was weird. But
yeah,
anyway.
Apparently he's mad at him because they cut Jake Kumaro.
That's such an Aaron Rodgers thing. That guy's such a bitch. Good quarterback, though. But I mean, that's just the thing, though. Like, it's your whole franchise currently is Aaron Rodgers. Entire franchise. Like, Devontae Adams is pretty good, yeah. Like that running back, fucking Aaron Jones, whatever his name is, he's pretty good. Like, Jair's pretty good, but like Aaron Rodgers, if he leaves, you easily lose like 6 more games.
They could be 6-11, I guess, because of the new game. Yeah.
So, I mean, if my biggest priority, and it's kind of a draft priority too, because you could have played this a lot, would be either keeping Aaron Rodgers or trading him for a fucking king's ransom.
Or here's the other idea. You want to make Aaron Rodgers happy? You're really convinced he's the guy? Why don't you trade Jordan Love?
That's true.
Nobody, you're telling me nobody would want him for, even if it's a second round, third round pick?
Yeah. My guess is Denver probably would have traded their 9th overall pick for Jordan Love.
Just saying, you guys want to make Aaron Rodgers happy. There you go.
There's so many different directions that they could have gone, and they picked pretty much the only wrong direction with that first round pick.
I like Stokes. I'm not going to hate on him for that.
No, I know. I like Stokes
like
too.
if they would have came away with Stokes and then Terrace Marshall in the second round.
Yeah. Then we're having a different conversation right now. Then it's like, okay, they actively tried to, maybe make it a little better with Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, it was just like, ooh, our Hall of Fame MVP, Super Bowl winning, probably one of the best of all time quarterback is he's pissed off. So 29th overall, let's go corner. Like, I don't know. I think Matt LaFleur is just trying to go too far in saying that this is his team, which is fine. It's fine if you want to have things done a certain way, but there's a difference between making it clear that you want things done a certain way and alienating your best player on purpose, it seems like. And I think, honestly, Matt LaFleur is just going to get fired. It's the second he has a bad season, Aaron Rodgers is going to be in the owner's ear being like, I want this guy fucking gone. I promise. Watch it happen.
Minnesota Vikings. I gave them a C-.
Nah.
The Darisaw thing's cool. Yeah, but this is just a team that's like, to me, mediocre, irrelevant. They're the Marvin Lewis Cincinnati Bengals. They'll hang around 8-8, but there's no star power ever. And what's the deal with Kellen Mond? What is your plan there?
Yeah, I didn't like that pick at all.
They had no second round pick. Like some of the guys they added, yeah, I like Wyatt Davis, Patrick Jones, cool, but like
Trey, you hate Kellen Mond.
Yeah, I hate Kellen Mond.
But it's not even about Kellen Mond for me. It's about the quarterback. Like, what are you gonna do? Like Kirk Cousins. You like Kirk Cousins, you're paying him a lot of money.
And there was a report out today they got outbid. Chicago Bears moved up. They tried to get Justin Fields.
Oh, really? Wow. So they don't like Kirk Cousins that much.
Yeah.
Wow. But regardless, it's like I don't think Kellen Mond's better than Kirk Cousins.
No.
And that's saying a lot because I don't like Kirk Cousins.
Right.
But I mean, the Christian Darrisaw thing was kind of like, I feel like that was more like dumb luck than anything.
At least they moved down to get him.
Yeah. It was just like, oh shit, this guy's here. He's pretty good. Let's take him.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
You're going to disagree with me on this one.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I gave them an F.
False. You're wrong. That's objectively wrong. That's a
Cayne
wrong.
says F for false.
I get if somebody wants to invest in Kyle Trask. I didn't think Tampa was the spot to do it. I didn't think Tampa was the spot to do it because this is a team. If you have 44-year-old Tom Brady, you got to do everything you possibly can to win right now. And they didn't do that.
But they returned their whole roster. Their whole starting line.
But don't hedge your bet. Keep going for it, man.
But who else could you have taken at that spot that would have been a better pick?
At 64?
Yeah. That could have helped your team win now.
Who's the I don't know. They could have moved up, maybe got a Terrace Marshall. Added another good receiver.
But man, there's like 50 good receivers on that team.
I know.
I'm just saying, I think that you have all like I wrote.
Why not? How about a Creed Humphrey right here in the second round? Like, God, how does that make your offensive line in Tampa? Like that, like to me, I didn't want Trask going there. You got 44-year-old Tom Brady. Run this puppy back. Do everything you can to win right now.
I think that was more of like a he's there. He's kind of exactly.
I know, but go for this thing, man. This is an awesome roster.
I think it's pretty much impossible for Tampa Bay to get an F with this because it's like what else? Like Joe Tyron, it was kind of like I
didn't like him.
It's just kind of like I don't know if you actually read like what I said about him, but it was kind of just like, I mean, he may be able to contribute It was like these are all luxury picks, though. It's what it is. It's like that's what happens when you win a Super Bowl and you return your whole roster. Like you can afford to pick like whoever you want. And I think Kyle Trask and Tom Brady, they're kind of like the same dude. So I'm like in terms of
My favorite pick they
style.
had was the North Texas guy, Jalen Darden. And I don't even know if he's gonna sniff the field.
He's gonna get fucking cut, Trey.
I know. I know. But this to me is like, how many guys are gonna help him?
How about this for Kyle Trask though? How about this argument? Tom Brady's 44. He's not getting any younger. What happens when he fucking gets hurt?
You're screwed
That's
anyway.
what I'm
aren't
saying.
you?
That was a pick to plan for the future.
Yeah, that's what
I think that was a great pick.
Yeah, I think it was
Tampa is gonna and he's gonna get to learn from Tom Brady, and he has a great offense to
I like
be
the
a part
Auburn
of.
linebacker.
If I wanted a quarterback
I don't
in
know.
the first round and nobody and pretty much like if I wanted a quarterback in the first round and I had the option between Trey Lance and Kyle Trask, I'd pick Kyle Trask.
And you've said you're a Trask guy, and
I am a
Trey's
Trask guy.
and
I think-
Trey's a Trask hater. I like Trask.
I'm not a
too.
hater. I'm not a hater.
You're a Trask hater. I texted you as soon as he got picked. I said, "Let's go." This is a great spot for Kyle Trask to be in. I don't think people realize that. He's in a great
Yeah, I'm
situation.
not arguing the landing spot. I'm just saying for Tampa, go for this thing, man.
But that's the thing. They are going for this thing because they have a fucking sweet roster already.
They do have a good roster.
They could have like gone any direction. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't think there was a single person in this draft other than maybe like the big three receivers or
But like what if they leave the draft here with like Bateman and Ojulari?
Ojulari wouldn't play at all.
Third downs, he would.
Not really. And I don't know. Bateman probably wouldn't play that much either. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, I understand from your perspective why you gave them an F, but for me, that I wouldn't even like. I wouldn't give them an A plus because like they didn't do anything like crazy good, but like I mean, impossible to give them a bad grade. I think.
Okay.
So I mean, like A minus.
Atlanta Falcons. I gave them an A minus. I think Kyle Pitts was the best player in the draft, so you get Kyle Pitts. I'm cool with that. Automatic A. I just didn't love anything did from like the third round on. I thought Richie Grant was pretty good at UCF. I liked him a lot there in the Senior Bowl. Maybe the Michigan tackle can start for you at right tackle, but outside of that, it's like, what are you doing here? Taquan Graham, he stinks.
Yeah,
Frank Darby can't separate.
Yeah, they caught me.
It's mostly an A for me because I just love Pitts.
Yeah, they caught me off guard a little bit. I mean, like you said, like Kyle Pitts is going to be the best tight end in the league in like 3 years. I mean, Richie Grant's likely going to start for the Falcons at safety. They have Jalen Mayfield written down as a guard, but he played tackle at Michigan. I don't know. Darren Hall, it's just like a very meh draft to me.
Yeah.
Can I just say this? Even though in that situation, the Falcons had to pick Trask because he was the best in the draft. You talk about picking the best available player.
Wait.
Pitts.
I mean, Trask. Sorry, Pitts. Sorry, Pitts. So, do they have to think about like? Should they have thought about a quarterback there?
Absolutely.
That's what I mean. So I was like, I had people tell me like, I was like, I think they really could have went quarterback there, even though Pitts was the best available. I mean, you can't pass on that, right? It makes a lot of sense. But I don't.
It really came down to it, for them. It probably came down to okay. Any of the quarterbacks still on the board? Do you like them more than you like Matt Ryan? That's really what it came.
I mean,
it may have came down to actually, we think Kyle Pitts is so good, we just can't pass on him.
Or
no,
also,
exactly. That's what I think it is.
Whatever quarterback you have available at that time. So I guess at that point it probably would have been Justin Fields, Mac Jones, like whatever you like better. Do you like either of those guys better than you like Matt Ryan with Kyle Pitts?
If they were, let's say they were picking 7.
Yeah, I still don't think they go quarterback there.
It could bite
Because-
him in the ass. Justin Fields is a Georgia kid.
The only other thing that I could have seen them do is like, man, they could have got some fucking picks
Oh yeah.
for that fourth. Like, the only like move with that fourth overall pick that I would have entertained and could even have been a better move. Maybe not. Maybe Kyle Pitts is going to be the fucking best player ever, and I'm going to eat my words here. But if I was the Falcons, I probably would have traded down, got like 3 first-round picks, and
Like maybe Denver would have said, "Hey, we'll move up" or something.
yeah, maybe Denver or maybe even Carolina. I mean, Carolina could have used.
But then the argument comes back up. It's like, oh, you really just passed on Pitts. Like, and that actually, like, it's not like they are tight end heavy.
well,
and
I
they
always
didn't
Well,
thought-
if you ask
You know
the
what I
Atlanta
mean?
Falcons, they are because they traded a second-round pick for Hayden Hurst and then declined his 5th-year option today.
Right.
I
right.
always thought that
What a clown
there's not really any winning for the Falcons with this pick, just because like it's like, okay,
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
if you take Kyle Pitts, there's going to be that like group of people that were like, they should have gone quarterback, they should have got Justin Fields, they should have traded.
Yeah, I
back.
thought they were gonna go
They
Justin
shouldn't have done
Fields.
this.
And
And then
alternate
but if you
universe.
pass on Kyle Pitts and you like get a king's ransom, or like you take quarterback back like at number 4, then it's going to be like, oh, you should have fucking taken Kyle Pitts because he's the best player in the draft, or like
Yeah.
or best tight end ever, or whatever. Like it was just very hard. And I mean, like I said, there's 2 directions that would have been like quote unquote like acceptable for me.
I don't think they could have really went wrong though.
No, I mean, it's either you take Kyle Pitts, you get a really, really great tight end, somebody who I think is going to be a really great tight end in the league, or you trade back at like 3 first-round picks.
Both are wins.
Both are wins. So, I mean, this is like kind of the same as yours, sort of like A-A type territory.
Carolina Panthers. Now it sounds like you actually might disagree with me here. I gave them an A, and I would have taken Surtain too, which is why it's not an A plus.
Yeah.
But I think Horn's really good. Terrace Marshall at 59, I think, is a damn steal. And they traded down a bunch. They had the 8th pick in the 2nd round. To get him at 59, they traded down and traded down and traded down again to get all these extra picks.
Yeah.
I think the BYU tackle's pretty good. I don't necessarily know what they're doing with this Notre Dame tight end. I think he can block, but some of these late round picks, Davion Nixon, 5th round, Keith Taylor, 5th round,
Deontay Brown's going to be
6th
a
round,
in the league.
Shai Smith, 6th round. They got a bunch of next year's picks too for moving down. That was a really good draft.
Drafted a long snapper.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't disagree with you. I mean, see, here's the thing. Whether it's JC Horn or it's Patrick Surtain, you're always going to have those people. Like, if Justin Fields is a stud, then JC Horn and Patrick Surtain would have to be like Jalen Ramsey, like Tre'Davious White level.
I think there's a chance they
Or-
could be.
I think there's a chance they could be, but that's what they would have to be if Justin Fields balls out. Because that's sort of, I think, even though to me, I don't think that was.
Now, can I ask you this?
Yeah.
If Sam Darnold was in this draft, because he's 23 years old and he's younger than Kyle Trask,
Yeah.
where does he go in your quarterback rankings?
I didn't think he was that good coming out of college. He had too many.
Oh,
turnovers
see,
for
I
him.
disagree.
See, I think my opinion of him has gone up since college, despite the fact
That's the
that
smart opinion.
it's just for me coming out of college for where they had him placed, it was like he had too many turnovers. Like you
Oh,
can't.
there's no doubt he's a little bit of a lunatic.
You can't have 14 turnovers in college and want to be like a top 5 pick. You know what I mean? Like at quarterback at least. But just watching him play, like obviously I'm a Patriots guy, so I watched him a fair bit, and he has so much talent, and it's just so evident that it was getting wasted in New York. I'm so fired up that the Panthers now have him. I think that for Carolina Panthers fans and maybe some analysts, the trade-off was, okay, if you're not going quarterback, what are you doing? And to me,
They got him for nothing, really.
Well, to me, the smart move isn't to take a quarterback because you have a lot of great players around at 8, and you have very capable starting quarterback currently that could turn into a really, really great quarterback. We don't know yet.
They got him for nothing.
Yeah, he was playing on the Jets, and I don't think it's really a fair assessment of any player's ability when they play for the Jets.
And not only did he play for the Jets, he played for Adam Gase.
Yeah. So that's sort of the double whammy right there. And I mean, if this is an A- for me, just because I would have taken Patrick Surtain over Horn. I just think he's better. But that's not. I don't think it's a huge gap. At the end of the day, I think I said this in my article too. Like, it really comes down to personal preference. I really liked the Chuba Hubbard pick because I think
I'm not high on him.
Yeah, well, he's Canadian, so I have to be high on him.
Either way, he's the backup for McCaffrey. Great.
Yeah, I mean, McCaffrey gets hurt again, and I think Deontay Brown is a great pick. He's going to be a starter in the league for a while, I think.
For 6th round, hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's decent, and it's not what I would have expected, but Terrence Marshall at 59 is a great pick. I mean, they already have some pretty good receivers there, but I think Terrence Marshall is
reunites with Joe Brady too at LSU.
Yeah, but the thing is too, like at 59, I don't think any team could have gone wrong in picking Terrence Marshall.
No,
that's a great,
especially moving down that many times too.
Yeah.
New Orleans Saints, I gave them an F.
Yeah, I didn't like them at all.
Peyton Turner, don't get it. Pete Warner 60. I thought Baron Browning was better. I think Pete Warner's just limited athletically. The only pick I really liked is Paulson Adebo. I'll stand for that guy, but like in a draft where you don't have a lot of picks, what are you doing picking Ian Book in the 4th round?
You just spent a king's ransom on fucking Taysom Hill. And James Winston, he's probably not even going to be your starter. James Winston's probably going to start for them.
What's the plan here, Ian Book? Why would you pick him in the 4th round in a draft that you don't have picks?
Especially
He's never going to touch the field.
Yeah, I think that's a throwaway. This is honestly the New Orleans Saints probably the 2nd worst draft. The worst one, I'll tell you when we get to them, but I think you probably know who it is.
I don't know if I do.
Well,
I think I do.
Oh, well.
Texans had a terrible draft.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't pick to the 3rd round anyway.
This is a relatively close 2nd worst. Peyton Turner, it doesn't make sense to me. Greg Rousseau. He's there at 20.
But not even that. They gave up 2 first-round picks to go up to get Davenport.
Yeah. And even if you were going to get a DM, like, it just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's like, what are you doing? The thought process was maybe like, okay, we don't know if we're going to take Davenport's 5th-year option, and we don't know how long Cam Turner can go for. Even still, I can name probably 3 DNs that were around at this time that are better than Peyton Turner.
Yeah.
Greg Rousseau, Ojulari, and there was one more I had I forget it. There's one more though, I promise. And it's just
Quincy Roche in the 6th round.
Pardon?
Quincy Roche in the 6th round I would have been happier with.
Yep, 100%. Peyton Turner, it didn't make sense. It was like, what are you doing? It's like, what? I just don't get it. I don't get, maybe they see something I don't, but for now, I just think it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they needed to come out with a stronger draft here.
And not only that, they lost a shit ton of guys because they're in salary cap hell.
Yep.
San Francisco 49ers, I gave them a B+. I know you're not a Trey Lance guy, but it's hard for me to imagine he's going to flat out fail with a guy like Kyle Shanahan. And Jimmy Garoppolo's there. Doesn't even have to see the field for the first year.
See, here's why I think that. So I thought it was going to be Mac Jones, and I thought I had a pretty strong argument for it. And honestly, it came down to Shanahan just like did something that he hadn't ever done before. Like he just went like a different direction, I guess, than he has in the past.
But I get why he did it.
I get why he did it too. Like, it's kind of a gamble, but like,
Oh, it's a gamble.
if you're Trey Lance right now, you're a happy man. There might not be.
Who would you rather go to?
You go to third overall to a team in California with a playoff ready, a team 2 years removed from a Super Bowl performance, to a professed quarterback guru.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to start for probably like 2 years.
Like, outside of Matt Stafford going to the Rams, like, who the hell else would you want to go to?
No, I don't. Like, maybe the Patriots. Maybe that would have been like a better situation.
I'd rather have George Kittle and Deebo Samuel on my side.
Yeah, I just think that, like, I don't hate the pick. I'm not a big Trey Lance guy, but I don't hate the pick. Like, the logic makes sense to me, which is why, like, the only time I really hate picks is when it doesn't really make sense to me logically. But, like, I mean, it makes sense logically, and my thoughts on Trey Lance and how good he's going to be don't take anything away from how good of a situation that is for him.
Oh.
Like, if he was going to succeed anywhere, it would be
like
San Francisco.
Perfect example. Trey Sermon's going to be a monster in this offense.
Ambry Jones, a Michigan guy. Ambry Jones is a stud.
Yeah, they got a lot of corners in this draft.
Yeah, I think that's a huge value pick. It's kind of okay. This is something I said a lot when I was doing these grades. Is you can, with teams going the direction of the Kansas City Chiefs, with the speedster, blow the top off, throw the ball 50 times a game type offenses, you can never have too many cornerbacks, too many good corners. And there was a lot of draft analysts that said, like, teams like, oh, like Denver won't take a cornerback. And it's like, okay, they might not, but, like, you never have too many good quarterbacks, especially in the NFL.
That's why I didn't get, like, when I did that Miami Dolphins mock draft simulator, I traded up for Patrick Surtain with their second pick, and every Dolphins fan in the world bitched in the comment section. It was like, you're telling me you guys would rather have Jalen Phillips today than to use one of those little picks and get Patrick Surtain as your second pick?
What? I don't know. You're quite likely in the AFC, if you want to make a run to the Super Bowl, chances are you're probably going to have to play in Kansas City, or at least against Kansas City.
Okay.
So you're going to need, you can just never have too many good DBs with this state in the game right now, I think. And I mean, this is smart, like a smart draft. It's like, I'm not going to try Lenoir. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name, but Lenoir, like, you can never go wrong with these Oregon quarterbacks. Ambry Jones is a stud. Like, Aaron Banks is a really good offensive lineman. Trey Sermon's a stud. Like, I don't know. This is, like an A kind of deal for me. It's good.
Arizona Cardinals, I gave them a C-. I didn't get the Zaven Collins thing. He just doesn't feel like today's NFL. A 275-pound middle linebacker after you took Isaiah Simmons the year before.
Apparently, they want him to be a pass rusher.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm a Zaven Collins guy. I like him.
Is he the 16th best player in the draft?
No.
I think.
I would have taken a lot of guys over him at that spot for that role. I do love the Rondale Moore pick.
Yes.
I think that's going to be awesome. Could you imagine the fun that Cliff Kingsbury is going to have with DeAndre?
That's what saved the draft to me, is the Rondale Moore in the second round at pick 49.
Maybe Cliff Kingsbury is just trying to build this franchise on, like, short kings now. He's just trying to look tall for all the pictures.
Yeah.
And stand next to all these short fucking receivers. But Zaven Collins is this is a B draft for me. And I'll tell you, it's just, there's so many different things they could have done with that 16th overall pick. So many players they could have gone with, not named Zaven Collins, that probably would have been better. And even if I were them, I would have even considered trading down.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're going to get Rondo Moore in the second round anyway. Like, I might have just... Zaven Collins feels like, I don't like when teams take sort of luxury picks when they don't have a luxury pick roster / pedigree. And it's
a tough division. You better be right.
Like, you already have some pass rushers. You have J.J. Watt.
Chandler Jones.
You have Chandler Jones. Like Chandler Jones, people forget because he was hurt all last year, but Chandler Jones 2 years ago, 2019, had a 19 sack season.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones was arguably the best pass rusher in the league in 2019.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Zaven Collins just doesn't really. I wouldn't have even gone defense here. I probably would have gone O-line. To be honest with you, especially with guys like who was around then. I mean, Christian Darrisaw was around then. Kevin, you could have even traded back.
You could have snaked the Raiders on Leatherwood.
You could have. No, never that.
All right, let's get through these because I know producer Alex is yelling at me on the time. Los Angeles Rams. I gave them an F. This draft made absolutely no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. This is a roster with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson, and Van Jefferson, and they decided to pick 3 wide receivers. What are you doing? Tutu Atwell was 140 pounds. What is he going to do for this team?
It doesn't. There's nothing about it that makes sense.
No.
And I just said that I don't like teams that do
these guys aren't even going to make the roster.
Well, Tutu Atwell might make the roster.
He'll make the roster.
But Bobby Brown might make the roster. I can tell you Ernest Jones isn't going to make the roster. Robert Rochelle from fucking Central Arkansas. He's not going to make the roster. I don't even fucking know who that is.
Jake Funk. Why?
No shot. He's going to make the roster.
You don't need running backs.
Ben Skowronek, no shot. Like Chris, I don't know. It just doesn't. Shut up. It just doesn't make sense to me. Lay down.
We can do this one. Seattle Seahawks. I hope you can hear me. They only had 3 picks in the entire draft, so I gave them an F. Dwayne Eskridge. Did you need a receiver there? They only had 3 picks. Like, I had to give them an F.
See, the reason I will sort of give them higher than an F is just because the reason they didn't have very many picks was because Jamal Adams, and I think that's
I hated that trade.
A worthy trade. Yeah, you don't need any of these guys. Maybe Trey Brown is decent. Like I said, you can never, especially if you're going to be playing Kansas City Chiefs of the world, and like you might need, some guys to cover those guys, but it's just meh. B.
Alex, if we can slot the break in here, but I'm going to keep going.
The following is brought to you in partnership by Symbol. Symbol is a new sports marketplace where you can trade shares of professional teams like stocks. You love sports. You interested in fantasy sports without the weekly annoyance of fantasy league upkeep? Then Symbol's the app for you. With Symbol, fantasy sports is going to a whole other level. How it works is simple. You buy Symbol shares for your favorite sim teams on the app. When your sim team wins, you get automatic cash deposits, and you don't lose any money when they lose. That's it. So if you follow trends across football, basketball, and baseball, and you think your team is a sleeper, simply invest in your favorite sim teams on Symbol and watch your virtual portfolio prove you right or wrong. And if you want to get in on the action right away, Vendetta Sports Media's got you covered. Go to symbol.app/Vendetta and use our exclusive promo code Vendetta, and you'll get a $10 bonus when making your first deposit. Symbol, taking fantasy sports to a whole other level.
We're going to move to the AFC East now. Finished up the NFC. Buffalo Bills. I'm going to give them a B. Thought it was a good draft. Solid draft. Greg Rousseau picked 30. Carlos Basham picked 61. Beefing up that defensive line. They got gashed in the run game by Kansas City during the year. So I thought 2 really smart picks there. 2 underrated picks, I thought, too. Marquez Stevenson. They had some return issues. He's going to be their kick returner. Easy. Yeah. Made a lot of sense to me.
Kick returner, too.
And DeMar Hamlin. He's a safety I really liked at a Pitt.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a solid draft.
Yeah. I mean, nothing crazy. This is kind of like a B plus area for me. I really like Greg Rousseau. I don't think that's anything great that the Buffalo Bills did, though. I think it was just he
The
was
GM said you don't luck your way into 15.5 sacks, and he's probably
no,
right.
he was undervalued a lot by the whole league, clearly. I think skill wise, he probably should have been. It probably should have been reversed. Honestly, with him and Jalen Phillips, I mean, I wouldn't draft Jalen Phillips with a fucking 3rd round pick.
I agree.
But like realistically, just knowing how the league works, it really should have been switched around. Like Greg Russo should have been the guy who's kind of like top 20, and then Jalen Phillips should have been the kind of guy who's like late 1st, early 2nd to me. But I just think that they lucked out, and they're thanking their lucky stars that Greg Russo's there, because I think he's going to be an all-pro or a Pro Bowl player.
Miami Dolphins, I gave them a C. And the reason why is because I can group this draft into 2 spots. What did we get with the Tunsil picks? Jalen Waddle and Javon Holland. Great. Awesome. Good job. What did we get with our picks? Jalen Phillips in the 1st round. Not it. Liam Eichenberg. Maybe not. Why did you pick Hunter Long? What is the deal there? Is Mike Gesicki not good enough? Like, and then they don't have a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick.
Yeah, I will give them probably another low grade, just because I hate the Jalen Phillips pick.
Yeah.
So much. I think Javon Holland was a really good pick. I think Liam Eichenberg was a decent pick.
Like, without the Tunsil trade, what did they get?
Nothing. They would have got Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Jalen, this is a B minus for me. I think, like, it's like you said, what are you doing with Hunter Long? Nothing. You're not doing anything with Hunter Long. Like, who the fuck is Larnell Coleman? Running back, sure, but like, why are you waiting till the 7th round to do it? I don't know. Jalen Phillips trade really puts a wrench in this, because I really love Jalen Waddle and Javon Holland and Liam Eichenberg. But the Jalen Phillips trade is just so. Even I was FaceTiming my buddy during the draft, and he was like so sad that they picked Jalen Phillips, because he's like, man, I read your article. He is Deion Jordan 2.0. It's like, yeah, I've been fucking telling people he's gonna be a goddamn bust, just like I've been telling people. Like, I mean, it just blows my mind. But
yeah,
they're gonna get a lot out of Jalen Waddle, and nobody's gonna care about the Jalen Phillips picks. But I will never forget.
I won't forget either.
No.
New York Jets, I gave them a B. I think Zach Wilson can play. What bothered me about this draft was, this is the worst roster in the league. Why are you trading 2 3rd-round picks to go and get Elijah Vera Tucker? Why? Don't do that. That's a Jamal Adams pick. You can't reduce the return that you got from Jamal Adams to go get Vera Tucker. You can't do it.
No. And I don't think Vera Tucker is even good enough to warrant that.
Like, you can't give away your return for Jamal Adams to do that. You can't do it. Now, I do like Elijah Moore and Michael Carter, but this is such a bad roster. You can't not have a 3rd-round pick here.
Yeah, the 3rd-round picks are where you're going to fill in spots too.
They gave away 2 of them.
Yeah, and I mean, you probably could have gotten Vera Tucker at 23 anyway.
May have. Maybe.
I think that
but either way, that's where the Vikings got Darisaw.
I think they would have picked Darisaw anyway. They don't need guards; they need a tackle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that this is a B minus for me. It's because I like Zach Wilson, I like Elijah Moore, I like Michael Carter. I like that Florida State safety, Hamza.
I do too.
His face.
Nasruddin. He's going to be a weapon.
I think he's going to be good. And honestly, I don't think that Jonathan Marshall pick is terrible, because I've seen him play a little bit at Arkansas, and I think he's pretty good. But I don't know. It's just like you can't really. It's like you said, you can't really afford to give up third round picks with a roster like this. That's where like you could. This is a roster where you could still get like starters from your third round picks. So I don't know. First four picks or first pick, third pick, fourth pick. I'm down for.
Mhm.
Vera Tucker pick was questionable to me.
Patriots, I gave them a B. I know you're a homer, so you're probably going to give them an A.
I'll try to be objective here.
Okay. I think the Mac Jones thing is fine. He'll be their starting quarterback. He fits in well with what they want to do. That's great. Christian Barmore, I get why you wanted to move up for him in a bad defensive tackle draft. He's clearly the best defensive tackle, in my opinion. So I get why you want to go up to get him. Ronnie Perkins, he should be able to help them as an edge rusher.
Yeah.
Cam McGrone, I think he can play. Ramondre Stevenson hopefully gives them a LeGarrette Blount type option in the backfield. I think it was a solid draft. Just maybe not like, hey, oh my God, we should throw fireworks.
No, I'd give him an A- probably.
That's fair.
Just because, see, here's my logic. So they were probably wrestling with, okay, do we trade up to get Mac Jones or Justin Fields? Because that was probably the option. Honestly, like Mac Jones or Justin Fields, it is what it is. I think Mac Jones honestly fits a little better into, what the Patriots have done in the past. He's kind of like Tom Brady 2.0. They're kind of like the same dude. Mac Jones is just a little more mobile. That's the only thing. But they stuck to their guns. They got Mac Jones. They got a guy they liked, and they didn't give up anything to get it, which I think is why I like that pick a lot, just because that's one of the guys they wanted. Clearly, like it's been well publicized that that's one of the guys they wanted, and they didn't, like, they just sat there and they waited and they were patient. They got it at the end of the day. I think like you can't really ask anything more, especially when there was so much speculation went about like, oh, maybe there's going to be 5 quarterbacks taken with the top like 7 or 8 picks. Like there was a lot going on, and they just stuck to their guns and they got their guy. I think that's, commendable. I'm not a big Christian Barmore guy, but I'm okay with drafting him at 38. I didn't think he was a first-round pick, but I didn't think he was a third-round pick either. Like he's sort of got drafted where he was supposed to. Ronnie Perkins, I love Ronnie Perkins. He is a baller. I think he can definitely help out too with the sort of D-end rotation. Him and Chase Winovich are going to be a good rotation there. I think I feel good about that. Ramondre Stevenson is what it is. Patriots have a running back by committee, so it doesn't matter. But Cam McGrone, I'm a big machine guy. Obviously, I love that Cam McGrone pick. There was one time where I didn't like him, partially because I was ready to murder him when he got that stupid unnecessary roughness penalty against Ohio State 2 years ago. I was legitimately ready to kill Cam McGrone. But he's a good linebacker, and he's a Michigan guy, so obviously I'm into that. One pick I really did like was the Trey Nixon pick. At 242, I think that's great value. And I think, obviously, we could use any receivers, whether they're drafted in the first round or the 7th round. So,
moving on, AFC North. Here's where we're going to really disagree. I gave the Cincinnati Bengals an A-. I don't care what anybody says. Jamar Chase rocks. That guy's awesome. And I understand totally why the Bengals took him. Not only was he teammates with Joe Burrow, but like, if you're going to tell me I'm going to get maybe a potentially better version of Anquan Bolden, I will happily take him. And they did pick a lot of offensive linemen here. They moved down to get Jackson Carman, who wasn't my favorite, but he's going to help along that offensive line. That East Carolina tackle, Deontay Smith, he's got a chance to be really good. And the Georgia center I like as well, Trey Hill. They got 2 edge rushers that should help him, Osai and Sample. Tyler Shelvin, LSU guy. He's a big-ass nose tackle, like 340. I like the Bengals draft. I like the Bengals draft. I get it.
I think Joe Burrow is going to get sacked 60 times next year. And
One thing you can't deny, though, Jamar Chase is going to be awesome.
Yeah, which is why it's like a B or B plus, not a D or D minus. You know what I mean? Like it's Jamar Chase. Like you can't go wrong picking Jamar Chase. He's an unbelievable receiver. And like you said, I kind of understand like the teammate connection. Your quarterback got sacked 32 times in 10 games last year and ended his season on torn ACL.
They picked 3 offensive linemen.
Okay, is Jackson Carman, Deontay Smith, and Trey Hill going to make that offensive line not allow like a ton?
I do like those guys, but I mean they're not elite players.
If I was the Bengals and I just spent my first overall pick on a quarterback who looks like he's going to be pretty spectacular, and he ended his season off torn ACL after getting sacked 32 times in 10 games, I'm probably going tackle.
What if Joe Burrow went to you and said, I want my teammate. I want Jamar Chase. We can get offensive linemen later.
I would have said, I don't give a sweet fuck what you want, Joe Burrow. I want your knee to be okay. That's what I want. That's what I would have said to Joe Burrow.
Because I guarantee he said he wanted him.
I guarantee he said he wanted it too. And I mean, Joe Burrow's a good quarterback. That doesn't mean he's a good drafter. And I think that with Penny Sewell there, I think it would have been really hard for me to say, okay, yeah, let's go Jamar Chase instead. I mean, Jamar Chase is going to be really good, I'm sure. But they already have a decent receiving core, and they need offensive linemen bad. And the reason it's a sort of a B or B plus is because they did sort of, mitigate that later on. I think Jackson Carman's okay, but I definitely would have preferred Sewell. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'll eat these words next year. Maybe he won't get sacked as much, but like fucking, he was on pace to be sacked like fucking 60 times. Like it was.
Jordan Williams didn't play last year, right?
Pardon?
Jordan Williams didn't play last year, right? So they should get him back healthy.
Yeah, but he's always fucking hurt.
Yeah, but should help.
I mean, I guess we'll see. But I didn't like that first pick especially. I thought it was stupid.
Cleveland Browns, they gave them a B plus. The only reason why it's not an A is because I think the Auburn wide receiver, Anthony Schwartz, I think he sucks. I don't think he has any idea how to be a wide receiver. But other than that, I think they did well.
I think it was a great draft.
I get why you say that. I like their picks. I just think the Auburn wide receiver, I think he's awful.
I think that the one spot that the Browns need some improvement on was the secondary. And,
no question.
And they went Greg Newsome, who I think is so underrated, but also so good.
Totally agree.
And Jeremiah Owusu, JOK, I'll call him JOK because I'm not going to try to mess around.
Great value.
But great value. And he's going to be like a buck type player, like a DB linebacker hybrid, almost like a CFL Sam linebacker, where it's like he's going to be a linebacker where he's down the box banging with the big boys, but he's also going to be like out in coverage on the extra receiver, and you're going to trust him. Like, I think that JOK pick might have been the pick of the draft in terms of like value and like how good I think he was, because I have them in my mock, interestingly enough, taking him with the 24th.
Well, they said they almost picked him in the first round.
Yeah, I had them taking him 26 overall. And I think that was a kind of fair viewpoint to take. I thought a lot of people thought he was that good, and I think he's going to be that good. Yeah, the Auburn wide receiver didn't really make sense to me. I don't think he's that good. Just never really stood out to me. He's kind of, you know how there's all those SEC receivers that all look the same, and it's like, yeah, you kind of all do your
He's a fast guy that has no idea how to run routes at all.
Yeah, that's kind of the mandate for SEC receivers these days, a lot of them. James Hudson, meh. It is what it is. Not going to play right away, maybe as a backup, but
former defensive lineman turned to offensive lineman. He's a project. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would give them an A solely based on the Greg Newsome and JOK picks, I think.
It sounds like we're going to disagree here too. I gave the Baltimore Ravens, who I can't stand, my team, the Baltimore Ravens, I gave them a D. I know you're a Bateman guy. I just don't think he's that much better than Tyler Johnson, who went in the 5th round. I think Bateman can play.
You're wrong, man. That's absurd. That's such a bad take.
I think Bateman can play. I just don't think he's that much better than Tyler Johnson. And they picked this Penn State guy at Oway. He had 0 sacks this past year, and he played.
You're a fucking 4-3. You can teach him how to rush the passer.
That can't be your first round pick.
Well, maybe when you have 2 first-round picks and the first-round pick is number 31, maybe that's when you take.
But they didn't have a second-round pick. They got this pick because it was Kansas City's pick, and they gave away Orlando Brown to go get this pick.
I don't know. I didn't think it was unreal. It was like maybe a B+ for me. But I thought the Rashawn Bateman pick, awesome. Rashawn Bateman.
He's gonna be held hostage anyway. Lamar Jackson's not gonna be able to get him the ball.
My logic, I had the mock taking Terrence Marshall, but my logic was right with this pick. It wasn't like Rashad Bateman was already gone in my mock. That's why it wasn't him. They needed one of the, so they have Mark Andrews for the short stuff, right? They have Hollywood Brown to blow the top off. They didn't really have like a sort of medium range route runner, middle of the field.
I'd rather have Marshall at 59 than Bateman at 27.
Well, they didn't have a pick there, so
that's because they gave away Orlando Brown. They wanted to move up.
Yeah, I don't know. Rashad Bateman is a good pick. Owe is a project, but that's okay.
Project.
It's
that's the
like,
word for it.
It's kind of like what I said in our Slack chat. The bottom like 10 picks, like you said, you got to really love a guy to pick him in the first round. That's not true.
I think that's true.
All of these picks are like the last 10 picks of every draft. You take flyers on guys. The Jordan Loves of the world get drafted.
It's such a bad way to look at it.
I think it's true because I mean, fucking Kansas.
If you feel that way, you should move down and get 4 flyers.
Kansas City takes Edwards Hilaire with 32 with the 32nd overall pick. That's a flyer. They didn't need a running back. That's a hell of a luxury pick, but he turned out to be great. Jordan Love gets drafted to the Green Bay Packers.
And everyone hated him for it.
Everyone hated them for it, but that's what teams do in those last sort of like 10 picks. So if I'm picking at 31 and you just lost Matthew Judon, I'm like, hey.
And Ngakoue.
This DN just ran a 4.3. I'm taking him.
All right.
I don't know. That's my logic.
Pittsburgh Steelers, I gave them a C+. I get why you took Najee Harris. I don't think I could have pulled the trigger on him as a first round running back. The Pat Freiermuth thing, Tomlin has been great taking skill position guys, but he feels very boom or bust to me. He's just very clunky. I don't know if he's going to be able to separate. And the rest of their picks were kind of meh. Kendrick Green, okay. Didn't really. I love Quincy Roche in the 6th round, but other than that, I thought it was an okay draft.
Yeah. Not a lot of these drafts were just like meh. I don't know. It's like Najee 24 seems really high to me for Najee Harris. Well, for any running back really. Like unless you're a guy coming out of college like Todd Gurley or like Zeke, where it was like
I'll take Chris Johnson at 25. I think that's where the Titans picked him.
Yeah, like there's certain guys coming out of college where it was like, okay, like I can see why your draft stock is so high, but like I don't know, Najee's another Alabama running back, and like he's just, which is good, and like they always turn out to be good a lot of the time, but it's kind of just 24 seems really high to pick a running back, especially like when you have the Phillip Lindsays and the James Robinsons of the world where you're undrafted and then you come in and become a 1,000-yard rusher. Like it just seems like you can find those guys not with the 24th overall pick.
Yeah. Indianapolis Colts, I think you're going to hate me for this one too. I gave them an F. I know you're a Kwity Paye guy, but to me, he was
a fucking stud.
We're gonna find out if that's Michigan homer or not. But even if you take that one away, to me, like Sam Ehlinger, why? The guy they picked from Vanderbilt, I legit did not know who he was.
Yeah.
And then I did more research on him. He's like, oh, he tore his Achilles, might not play this year. What are you doing picking that guy in the 2nd round? Kylan Granson, you have 1,000 tight ends. Why? I didn't get this draft at all. And I'm tired of the Chris Ballard hype. I'm tired of it. Every NFL analyst is like, "Oh, this Chris Ballard guy, he's so brilliant. Look at all of his drafts." Can you win the AFC South one time for me? He's been in the job since 2017. All I hear is Chris Ballard's brilliant. You can't win this dog shit division one time?
Yeah, you can't that's your hurdle. Like the Tennessee Titans are your hurdle.
You can't win this division one time. I keep hearing everyone tell me how brilliant Chris Ballard is. Win this division. It's horrible. One time.
Yeah, I don't
Blake Bortles has won this division more times than Chris Ballard. There's no excuses for this guy.
At the end of the day, you can be smart as hell, but if you don't win any, like you can be a good drafter and everything, it doesn't matter.
Where are his good picks? I just see Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard. Other than that, where are his good picks?
Now, I think Kwity Paye was a great pick, obviously, and that's sort of that's part Michigan homer, and that's part just watch the film. Like he's a stud. And like I said, they had a need, and he was around at 21, and that was a great value pick because a lot of people saw him as like a top 15 pick. So I think that's good. I mean, the other ones though, like none of them make
none.
Any
they don't make sense.
Sam Ellinger's awful. First of all,
he's terrible.
I don't know, man. It just they're dumb. They're dumb picks. It's my pet peeve. Like I said before, when teams make luxury picks, like Sam Ellinger is a luxury pick. Kylan Granson's a luxury pick. Like you just drafted Kwity Paye. Why the fuck are you drafting this DN from Vanderbilt? That's like that I've never even heard of either.
And apparently he tore his Achilles. He's not going to play. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Jacksonville Jaguars. The only reason why I gave them an A- is because I'm not a Travis Etienne guy. I don't think he's a first round running back. But other than that, I love their draft. Obviously, the Lawrence thing we don't have to go over, but Tyson Campbell at 33. Hell yeah. Walker Little, he might have been a top 10 pick if he was just healthy. So I love that pick. Andre Cisco, the Syracuse safety, good with me. Jay Tufele, USC defensive tackle. I think he was the best defender on USC's team. He just opted out.
Mm-hmm.
I love this draft for Jacksonville.
I really hated the Travis Etienne pick.
Yes.
Especially considering Jacksonville needs help pretty much everywhere on the defense. And when you just use your first pick overall on who some people think is going to be the next fucking like Peyton Manning, it seemed like they were kind of fucking around almost. We're just like, oh look, we're gonna get Trevor Lawrence, and then oh man, we got his teammate too.
Yeah,
Travis is back. We don't even really need a running. Like there was literally a meme where it was like, have you seen that video where it's
and James Robinson was good for them?
Have you seen that video? It's the meme where it's the guy at the cookout, and he's like, wait, what the fuck? It was literally like that. It was like James Robinson after they drafted Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
This guy was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, James Robinson's a stud. He's going to be your running back for a lot of years. Why are you spending a 25 overall pick? You don't have the luxury.
I get if you want another one, but why are you doing it in the first round?
You don't have the luxury of not spending every pick you can on good defensive players right now because that defense sucks.
Yes.
So bad. Didn't Derrick Henry have like 275 rushing yards?
The only guy they have is Josh Allen, the edge rusher.
Yeah.
The only guy they have.
That's it.
And Miles Jack. I don't want to discredit him.
Yeah, but I mean, two guys can't make a whole defense.
No. Houston Texans. I don't think we have to spend a whole lot of time here.
No, the whole thing sucked. It was
F.
off. And it's terrible. It's an F.
F.
It has to be. Because they didn't, I'd usually give them some leeway if the reason they didn't have all those picks was because they actually did. But man, they gave up a king's ransom for fucking Laramie Tunsil. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, he's good. He's good, but he's not three.
And then the first pick they used is a developmental quarterback.
Davis Mills. I don't know. I do like Nico Collins, obviously, because I'm a Michigan homer.
Oh, boy.
But he's a slapdick and messes around a lot, and who knows if he'll actually, show up. So,
yeah. Tennessee Titans. I gave them a C+. Thought it was just average. Like to me, when you take Isaiah Wilson the year before, you whiff. I thought Farley was way too risky there in the first round. Cornerback that's got back issues, limited experience at the position. I couldn't have done that if I was them.
This is a C minus.
Yeah,
probably for me. It's nothing pops up. Like, I don't mind Farley, he's good, but he just came off of like a big surgery.
Back surgery too, twice.
Yeah. It's not like it was something like his wrist or something like that. Like it was a major surgery. North Dakota State offensive tackle Dylan Radins. I didn't know who he was until like a week before the draft.
I think he can play.
North Dakota State. I don't know. I'm never sold on these FCS guys ever.
James Robinson, FCS guy.
Yeah, but he proved it though.
Yeah.
I would have said the same thing last year. It's like, oh, is James Robinson going to pan out in the NFL? No.
Denver Broncos. I give them an A+. They should have handed the keys to this George Patton guy a long time ago. Patrick Surtain, hell yeah. I think he's awesome. Javonte Williams in the second round may have gone a different direction, but I think he's awesome. Quinn Miners, round 3. Yep. Baron Browning, round 3. Yep. Get 2 quality safeties with Caden Stearns and Jamar Johnson.
Seth Williams.
I think Kerry Vincent is awesome at LSU. He would have went way higher if he didn't opt out.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, this is an A+ for me too.
Yeah.
I thought it was like there was a lot of analysts who were giving them like C's and like
no way.
All these like, man, it's just like they weren't gonna pick a quarterback. They weren't.
Get over it.
They weren't gonna do it. They just traded for Teddy Bridgewater, and for some reason they fucking love Drew Lock. So they were never ever going to draft a quarterback, especially.
And this roster stinks.
Especially, yeah. It's like I said, it's the exact same thing I said with Jacksonville. You don't have the luxury of
to fool around,
to mess around,
and they did.
Quarterback number 9 overall. Especially like I think Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock can be both capable starters. In like
they could wind up being a sneaky playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys, like, I feel like they won't hold that team back given like that roster.
Like if KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy take a leap this year and Noah Fant takes a leap and those 2 healthy edge rushers, hopefully Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, and then you got Surtain in the back, and they could be a sneaky playoff team.
And I think Baron Browning's going to start.
Oh yeah.
For that team, and he's a stud too. I've always been a big Baron Browning guy. Hurts me to say that because fuck Ohio State, but like Patrick Surtain is going to be like a day 1 starter. He's going to I think he's going to be could be defensive rookie of the year. And I just hate how analysts are like giving them bad grades because they wanted them to draft a quarterback at 9 overall. Like they were never going to do that. Like what about their offseason has said we're going to draft a quarterback 9th overall?
Nothing.
Not a single thing. They kept Drew Lock and they traded for Teddy Bridgewater. They're not going to draft a quarterback 9 overall. It just never made sense. So this is an A+ for me. I love Javonte Williams. I love Quinn Miners. Quinn Miners is a stud. I know I said I don't like those like lower.
He was awesome at the
guys.
Senior Bowl.
He was so good at the Senior Bowl though. So good. And like he was dogging didn't he that D tackle Christian Barmore, he was at the Senior Bowl, right? Or was it a different Alabama D tackle?
I don't think it was him.
There's a video of him dogging an Alabama defensive tackle, absolutely dogging him, and I just think he's a stud. You see all these videos of him out in Wisconsin, fucking like punching trees and stuff, and I don't know, just a grinder, and I think he's gonna be real good. And I mean, Ali Marpet turned out great, and he got drafted from a D3 school, kind of the same situation.
Chargers, I gave them an A-. The only reason why it's not an A+ for me is because I think Josh Palmer stinks, the Tennessee wide receiver. But to sit there and get Slater at 13, win. Asante Samuel at pick 47, another win. I think if he's an inch taller, he goes in the first round.
Yeah.
His dad is a multiple-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Trey McKitty, he had like no college production, but Hey, this guy has a lot of tools. He might be the sleeper tight end of the draft. Chris Rumpf, he's not going to really help you except for like third downs and rushing the passer. But hey, I'll take that in the 4th round. I thought it was a really good draft by the Chargers.
This is an A+ for me.
You're a Josh Palmer guy?
I have to be a Josh Palmer guy. Canadian, baby.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Rashawn Slater, I think, is an awesome pick, partially because I think he's the best offensive tackle in this draft, but also because I think that's the pick, like the kind of pick that Cincinnati should have made. Like, you have a quarterback who you just drafted last year and he turned out to be really good, but he got sacked a little bit. Like they had a little bit of trouble getting pressured. Like, that's the pick Cincinnati should have made. And I love that Los Angeles made it. They understand like their future is Justin Herbert, and they need to draft a guy who's going to help that. Like you said, I love Asante Samuel Jr. I'm usually pretty high on these Florida State guys. I'm a big
they recruit well.
Yeah, big Florida State guy. So Asante Samuel, I mean, he's a good pick. Like you said, I think he's a 1st round pick if he's an inch taller. NFL bloodlines, all that stuff makes him, a good pick there. Josh Palmer, Canadian, love the guy, have to. Obligated. Yeah, I don't hate anything here. This is maybe not an A+, actually, probably an A.
Kansas City Chiefs, I gave them an A+. I think you have to factor the Orlando Brown thing in here because he's part of the trade here. They moved down into the 2nd round. They gave Baltimore their 1st round pick to get Nick Bolton at 58. I think is awesome value. And they had no linebackers to begin with. Yeah. So he's going to lead their defense. He can fucking run his ass off. Great pick. Creed Humphrey at 63. Hell yeah.
This draft for me, let me just start this by saying this would be an A just based on those 2 picks.
Yeah.
For me.
Like, they've rebuilt their entire offensive line. Trey Smith in the 6th round, this is the #1 recruit in the country. He had blood clots. Okay, but, I mean, if there's the reason he goes in the 6th round is because of blood clots, I'll sign up for that any day of the week. Mm-hmm. The Florida State guy, you just mentioned Florida State, but I think their program's kind of been in the toilet. I don't think it's the fault of the kids. I think it's just bad coaching.
Yeah.
Noah Gray, the Duke tight end. I think he could be a pretty good backup tight end. And Cornell Powell, I thought he was actually the best guy Clemson had this past year.
I think that's a huge value pick. Cornell Powell was
he can fucking run.
Yeah, he's severely underrated, and I am never sure why. But hey, the Kansas City Chiefs don't care. They got him at 181. I mean, the best receiver on a national championship contender team. Like, can't ask for more than that.
Yeah. Last one. Las Vegas Raiders. I gave them an F. You can't justify the Leatherwood pick. You can't justify it. The Morig thing's fine, but you traded up to go get him. The Buffalo defensive end, we'll see. Then they tripled down at safety. They took 2 safeties, and they traded up to get one of them. This is just another year, the merry-go-round of Mike Mayock just not knowing what he's doing.
I understand that the Raiders evaluate players differently. And I will say I did predict the Leatherwood pick, which is probably one of the proudest moments of one of the proudest moments of my sports writing / analyst career so far. It would be I would be having a different conversation right now if they were making the playoffs and making playoff runs every year, but it seems like
they flush all these picks down the toilet.
Different analysis was not not the move. And Leatherwood, I understand the logic behind drafting an offensive lineman in that spot, just because you got rid of 60% of your offensive line last year. But then why are you then not using more picks? to do that. Like
you can't make up the shit they do.
Why do you need to draft Tyree Gillespie? Why do you need to?
How about the? I was told John Abram was awesome. They picked that guy in the first round. They took 3 safeties.
Yeah.
And they gave like LaMarcus Joyner $60 million and cut him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. And hey, who knows? Maybe they'll go 12-4 and fucking
no chance.
And fucking win the division this year.
No chance.
I think that they need to get Mayock and Gruden the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I think that to his credit, Gruden hustled the shit out of the Oakland Raiders.
Big time.
I think I mean, Al Davis is rolling in his grave right now. I swear they have like an Ouija board or whatever, like the spirit of Al Davis just being like, take the fast guy. Like, take the guy with the cool name. You know what I mean? Like it's that's my thing. But
yeah. All right, those are our 2021 NFL draft grades. Make sure to follow Cayne Lander, exactly how it sounds. Producer Alex over there in the corner, he hasn't said anything in a while, but he's chilling. Myself, Trey Daubert, make sure to follow me. And the show handles, that's some cheese minus the E for Twitter. And _ that's some cheese for the Instagram. Make sure to follow me
really
on TikTok.
America.
Trey Daubert, TikTok. Make sure to follow that. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.